Hello, hello. It is Coach Darcy here on a Saturday, and it looks like I am dressed for Saturday, which is fine. We come as we are sometimes. So it is, what a day, almost 2 days before the new year. And I just as I was journaling, because that's part of my new year plan, is I'm going to be journaling more. I made my um, goals for 2024 here, and I'm just adding to it. But as I was doing some thinking, as I was reflecting on what 2023 brought me, what my coaching has brought me in the past, I just thought, why are you a coach? What brought you to this point? And then I was thinking about my childhood. And so my brain is a little ADD. It goes from, memories from childhood to years later. And then there's this gap in my life where I don't remember hardly anything, which was just after I got married. And then until I had kids. And then there were spurts in when I had kids that I can't recall. I have a terrible memory. When I was even a child, I had not really remembered a whole lot from my childhood. And I know that there's people out in the world that are like that. But for me, I had a memory that kind of popped in that was like, oh, that's so interesting how this just parallels to where I am today. And in my journal entry, I'm going to kind of read it a little bit, but kind of quickly summarize what my journal entry was about. And I titled it as Buried. So before I move on, if you would love to just share this out, I feel like this is a great video that will kind of will allow you to see like why I have become a coach, why coaching is important to me, maybe why maybe why you would possibly need a coach. So I am going to kind of give you a story on my childhood and growing up in the Bonowitz household. It's very interesting because I am the youngest of four kids. I have two sisters and a brother. I am the youngest, obviously, that I said. But my oldest sister, which is also my boss, my hero, my uh, the CEO of CAM Health Coaching, we are about 11 years apart. To be fair, it's 10 years and 9 months apart. um, and then I have a brother that's about 7 years older than me, and then I have another sister that is 4 years older. And I spent a lot of time with the middle sister, the one that's 4 years older than me, because she was the closest one. And then here and there's with my brother. We didn't spend as much time because he had better things to do than hang out with his younger sister. Now he is, probably one of my best friends. So like all of my siblings, we're all best friends. We love each other, and it's all dandy. So, but this story is about events in my childhood, some adventures that my middle sister and I had, and um, and as I was sitting and remembering my childhood, I'm going to kind of pinpoint on my notes. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I want to basically read what my journal entry says for today. But as it came across my memory of my childhood, I recalled my childhood habits. I was not a very clean child. Like I was clean in the body area, like that clean. But when it came to my room, it was terrible. It reminds me of my own kids' rooms. So I think God has his humor in giving you children that are very much like you were. And that is exactly what it is. And you might hear my children in the background because they are home from school. So the childhood habit of mine, I I believe rooted in because I was the youngest. And as much as the younger children don't want to admit to it, we did get everything handed to us on a silver platter. We were the babies of the family. We were um, weak and weak and unable to do things for ourselves because we were the youngest. We were the last hurrah. We were the ones that were, maybe I'll get this one right, kind of child. That was me. And I was also a very emotional, annoying child. I recall seeing some videos of me in one of those old school videos, of me just always being in the video screen, always. And I was annoying and I was a buzzing bee. That was me. That was, look back into that and I see, oh my goodness, that is like my children right now. They're not necessarily annoying, but they are. They have their moments. They like to be in the spotlight. They like to do things nonstop that get on your ever last nerves. Um, but as the youngest, I also got spoiled rotten where I would want my new toys or I would, just get waited on hand and foot. And it was usually my siblings doing that for me. Um, my parents were hard workers. They, were amazing parents. Um, there are also rules in my house. Like they were pretty easygoing until they weren't, until we uh, overstepped our boundaries. And for me, as the youngest, I loved to play, imagine, create. I was a creative child, but I also loved Barbies. And with Barbies comes a lot of little pieces, a lot of grand things with Barbies and boxes that I would create houses with that from Aldi. We would have our Aldi trip and we would get boxes and I would create Barbie houses, cars, all these things with for my Barbies. And I'm in the zone of playing. I'm in the zone of being a young kid with imagination, but it was terrible, terrible at cleaning up after myself. Terrible at cleaning up after myself. And once I played Barbies all week, I did all my thing. Then Saturday happened. Saturdays were not my favorite because I knew when Saturday happened, that was that point where my parents were um, fed up. It was dubbed the cleaning day. And when we would either be sent to the basement to clean up or we would be, which is kind of like dad's way of like, let's get my kids out of my hair, get them clean, which is pretty smart. And then, their rooms are a mess. So now your rooms need to be cleaned. So Saturdays were dubbed cleaning day. And with my siblings being older than me, they had it figured out by the age that they were that okay, once dad said to clean the rooms, it was time to like just get it done and then I could go do whatever I wanted to. Well, I didn't get it because I was still the youngest. I was emotional. I had everybody do everything else for me. I tricked my siblings into doing things for me and you know here's the thing. There was 3 girls in this tiny room, and as I go back home to see, like, the tiny room, like, I can't believe that 3 girls lived in this room. But we had bunk beds. Eventually, when my older sister moved out and went to college, I was about 7, and then that meant my middle sister and I shared a room, which we would have, like, twin beds. So, there was room. It was just a tiny space. But, um, so when we lived in this room together, um, you know, that was the day that we learned that Darcy was terrible at cleaning her room. That was the moment when Saturdays came. That was the moment where I refound treasures that I forgot that I had because it was buried under all this other stuff, my clothes that I didn't pick up, my bed that was unmade. I was epitome of a pig as a child. And so I would sit there and rediscover these treasures as I was cleaning, but I was deep cleaning. I would tell my family or my mom or my dad, I'm like, I'm deep cleaning. I'm finding all these things. I'm organizing. But really I was just playing. I'd end up playing with him. While my sister, on the other hand, would get her stuff cleaned, her stuff organized, all done. Um, so she picked up things sooner. And then I was left alone. As she was done, I was left alone in that room under all of my scum, junk, and mess that I was rediscovering. And then by that time, it was starting to be nightfall and everybody was home from work. Everybody was starting dinner. And then that timer went off, or what was set. Like, if you don't get this done by this time, you're going to be in trouble. This is all going to be put away in a garbage can. I can only imagine that that wasn't just my parents that did that, because I tend to do the same thing. So then all of a sudden reality set in. Then all of a sudden, when the timer went on, all of the things started to come into my eyesight, and I was seeing all of, like, the reality of what my room looked like in other people's eyes. And it was so overwhelming. And the reality it was is that I quickly started to get upset. I started to feel buried. I started to feel anxious. I started to feel overwhelmed because of all the stuff that was there. And then, even though I'm on the timer, my body went numb. I became a sloth, even more of a sloth than I was before. I became numb. Emotions started to overwhelm me, and I started to feel like, oh, I can't do this all by myself. I'm feeling overwhelmed. And then I'm starting to cry and get emotional. And then the emotions start to overwhelm and start to make the situation a lot worse. Now, as I'm moving, or no, I'm going back to the fact that when I was starting to feel like I wasn't able to move, and then the clock was starting to tick closer to the time, then the goodness of my middle sister walked into the door. And she would obviously bribe me a little bit if she were to help me. I'm going to, if I do this for you or with you, then you need to do this for me. So there was always a give and take. But when she walked into that room, it was like a sigh of relief, because she would say, "Hey, I will help you, but you need to be able to do, fill in the blank." So my distraught heart became a little bit of a lighter load. Like, my load started to be like lifted a little bit. And then as she helped me clean up my room in a way where she would organize certain things. She would put things in a pile. She said, "Okay, now work on this pile." And then as I was working on this pile, putting things away, she was putting together another pile. And she would work on this pile, as I was done with this pile, I moved on to the next. So making my huge, ginormous mess into smaller piles made me be able to just knock the room, like, real quick. And the anxiety went away. That went away. And as much as she saw it was, because I helped you, this is why we got done. She actually was helping me organize and do work on 1% at a time. She helped me simplify things that was in my room by putting like things together. And so that's exactly how it worked out. So with that, in that moment, what she did was she got into that dirt pile with me, and she helped me in that dirt pile sort things out, like I said. And it's just amazing, because I saw that as, like, she did this, and in my brain, it helped me just be able to now carry that on as I was an adult. She didn't know she was doing that, but between my mom's to-do lists and her helping me organize and simplify things, I carried that on to when I became in high school. It was a lot more simple. I was able to clean a little better. And then I got into college, and that's a whole nother mess because everything else in the world just kind of piled up on me. But then I look at that time is that as in my college days, it happened all over again where I was overwhelmed with the schoolwork, the projects, all these things. And that is the start of when I gained that freshman 20. Like, I gained so much weight during that time because I would just go eat whatever I wanted. I had stress and I had all these projects, and just everything started to pile in my room, in my dorm, and my roommate. Our room was just terrible. But then we would have our Saturday cleanups and we would get it cleaned up. But she helped me simplify my mess. And as I look back, I just saw the parallel to where I am now. What the events in my life from then until about 4 years ago is it parallels to how I became overweight. You know, the things in life, getting married, having a job, having kids, having the small problems of marriage, if there were any, the things of children, if they brought the things on the outside world that piled on, and I didn't organize it as it came. I just became a pile of mess. And I let the junk in my life just pile up so much that I became anxious. I became depressed. I became overwhelmed. I became frozen like a sloth, and I became overweight. That is how it happened. The chaos in the world, the chaos in my life, the stress in my life. I just said, okay, well, I know I have this, but I'm going to put it away aside for later, or I'm going to put it over here for later. I'm going to not mess with this now. I'm going to do this later. And then my junk closet was so full because of the things that I didn't know what to do with. My junk closet exploded. That's what happened. And then there was the jealousy creep that also happened because during this time was when my oldest sister decided enough is enough. I've been shown a good way of living, and I'm losing weight. She's becoming smaller than me, and she's gloating about it. Because she's not gloating. She's happy about it. She's expressing that I can't believe that I am this small. I have not been this small since, So all that jealousy started to creep up and stir up my pile, stirred up my junk. And I was absolutely anxious. I was just upset. I was like, I don't even want to talk to you. There was just so much from that situation that stirred up my junk. So then that's when she was like, listen, I have the key and I'm willing to give you the key. You just need to do the things. So I did the things. She helped me simplify my mess. And the root of where my mess started was I did not know how to eat properly for my age, for my lifestyle. I did not know what was healthy, what was going to help me go and live a lifestyle that I knew was possible, but it wasn't working for me at the time. I would try eating low carb. I did a lot of dirty keto stuff, and I didn't know it. I didn't know what keto was. And I lost weight, and I thought it was a supplement I was taking, but it wasn't that. It was the fact that I changed how I was eating. I was choosing healthier things. But then after I was stopped, it all came back. It all just came tumbling back. And I gained it all back. And that is when I said, you have got to have the answer for me. So after she came into my room and she helped me organize, she helped me simplify, she helped me just reevaluate what was the chaos in my life by giving me a sturdy foundation, that showed me this clarity. This made me have an aha moment of like, oh, that is what this is. So then, as I watched her work with her clients, as I helped her just do marketing stuff at first, then I realized there is a passion burning inside me, that joy in my heart that I get when clients feel again and they are able to climb out of that mud pile that they've created and they have joy in their hearts. They have this energy back. And it's all from that foundational thing of food and what we put in our bodies. And so I'm paralleling my childhood to now, like that just makes me realize I'm like, I am stepping in my middle sister's shoes and my older sister's shoes. The passion my older sister has for people. I'm not saying that my middle sister doesn't have passion for people, because she does. But the organization that she had in her world of knowing how to take care of the mess. She loved organizing. So she put that on me. I love helping people and seeing what it can do for people's lives when they just start to organize their mess 1% at a time. I love to take what I learned from my middle sister of creating piles, little sections for people to work with in order to deal with a whole mass of issues in their junk closet. And for me, that is accountability. When she came into that room and holding me accountable to having a clean room, or to hold me accountable for, and my other sister to hold me accountable for what is eating right, having that person by my side helped me have clarity, helped me have just this sigh of relief, like, yes, this person is in this mud with me because I have buried myself so far deep into this mud that I need somebody to help me out. And that is why I love to coach. You'll find out here, if you're not seeing it now on your feed, of all of the diet trends, the new things. Oh, it's all about getting rid of this. It's all about this. It's all about this. It's all about an easy shot. It's all about convenience. You're going to see this. But there's one thing that these diet companies are not giving you, and that is the accountability that you need to utilize these tools to help it be sustainable. If you cannot join a program and see it through until the end of your days, then it is not the right program for you. That is not sustainability. With our program, with what I do as a coach, is we teach you, we give you tools that you can hold on to for the rest of your life. You can hold on to that. And so just keep in mind that when you are overwhelmed, when you're anxious, when you've tried everything else by yourself, sometimes it's going to take somebody to get in the mud with you to sort things out into little 1%. So that 1% of growth is going to push you in the right direction. And one of my favorite things is journaling. Journaling it out so that you can I'm hearing my children have an argument right now. I just got distracted from that. But just journaling it out helps you sort out that mess. Sort out the junk in your closet. Give you some like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Like, you get connections in your life. So, in this story of learning how terrible of a child I was at the age of young to college to my life now, I don't have it all together. My house still has like, clutter. But I can tell you one thing I do have together. I do have together my healthy lifestyle, my foundation of what I eat so that I do not let the chaos overwhelm me. I have the tools that I need in order to be unburied from all that. That's the title of my journal entry is buried. So if you need help, please don't hesitate to come and say, "Hey, I need this. I need this help. How can you help me?" I realize that I can't do this on my own. I've tried it. If you've tried it and tried it and tried it, sometimes accountability is the answer. So, with that being said, it is Saturday. I know you have other things to do, but if you would please like, follow, and share this page, spread this out to people in your world that you may feel like they could hear this message. Maybe they could relate. But don't do it in a way that's going to have them be offended. Like, what are you saying? I'm a pig. Don't do that. But there's people in our lives that are placed in our lives in order for us to learn. If you are learning, if you are doing the things, like that is how you have sustainability. So, goals of 2024, journaling. There's a foundation ready for you to get yourself on a healthier path. So I hope you have a happy new year. I will see you next year, and we shall talk to you later.